this is where the fun begins. So now we're not looking, they're not giving you two molecules. They're actually trying to figure out the molar mass of an unknown molecule. So for this one, we know one of them is neon. So it says, what is the molar mass of a gas that diffuses 1/3 as fast as neon? So neon, let's look up its molecular mass. It looks like it is 20.180. 20.18. Okay, so if it moves 1/3 as fast, that means it's slower, right? If it's slower than neon, is its mass, this unknown thing, is it going to be smaller or is it going to be larger than 20? All right, so it's slower than neon, so is it going to be larger or smaller? Yeah, exactly. So the molecular mass of our unknown variable has to be larger than 20.18. Why? We know that it'll move slower if the molar mass is bigger. Okay, and so 1/3 as fast, 1/3 as fast means that it's slower. If it was 3 times faster, then that would be faster. That would be a smaller molecule. Okay, what is the molar mass of a gas? All right, so let's figure out what we're doing here. So first of all, we're going to set this up as kind of like a an expression like this, and we know it's 1/3. Okay. Now with this one, remember how I said you have to put the bigger one on top? With this, it doesn't matter. You actually have to figure out how it's going to work to make the molecular mass bigger. Okay. So let's talk about what the options are. All right. So there's the 1/3, and then we know that it's going to be, both of these are going to be molecular masses. All right. One of these is going to be X, one of these is going to be 20.18, or the neon. Okay. So the one option could be 1/3, and then we could put maybe neon on top, and then we put X on the bottom. Or we could do 1/3, and we can do X on the top and neon on the bottom. Okay. Now, to figure this out, you actually have to do a little bit of like thinking about, well, what do these numbers mean? What are we going to do when we eventually have to cross multiply this? So think about it this way. Neon is 20, right? Neon is 20. And then neon is 20. Okay. When you solve the first one, you're going to cross multiply, right? So you're going to cross multiply these two numbers. So it's going to be 3 times 20, and that's going to equal 1 times the square root of x. Okay? So that means that you're going to multiply 3 and 20 together, and then you have to do some square rooting stuff, right? Okay, so that's just the basics. We just wanted to kind of set it up. If you look at this one over here, what's going to happen now is you're going to have 3 square root of x equals 1 times 20. Well, to solve for x for the second one, what do you have to do with the 3? You have to divide by 3 on each side. Okay? Which then is going to make it, all right, well, if this one's divide by 3, that means that this number is going to be a smaller number, this one over here. If you're multiplying by 3 over here, even though we're not dealing with the square roots, when you multiply these two together, that's going to become a bigger number. And remember, we want to be larger than that 20. All right, so you're going to do this one. All right, that's going to make it bigger. And each time you do one of these problems, you have to think about these two setups. Which one could it be? All right, so that's kind of how I think it through. There's other ways to think it through as well. But again, this is how I do it. But you can figure out a different way if you'd like. All right, so let's plug it in. So 1/3 equals, I'm going to put neon on top, which is 20.18. And then I'm going to put the x on the bottom. All right. Now, how do we solve this problem? Well, we need to get rid of the square root, right? So I'm going to square everything, okay? So on the left, what that's going to do is it's going to be 1 squared, which is still 1, and then 3 squared, which if you're not good with squaring things, please put it in your calculator because it's going to be, all right, let's check it out. Let's put it in. So it's 3 and then second power, that's going to give us 9, okay? It's not 3 times 2. All right, next up, when we do the other side, it's just going to take the square roots off. So you'll end up with this. All right, and now we just solve. Okay, so we cross multiply. And then we'll get 1x equals 9 times 20.18. And then that'll give us a large molecular mass, which is what we're expecting. So it's x equals 181.62 grams per mole. Now, where did the grams per mole come from? They should have been there all along. So when we were writing this out, it should have been grams per mole. And then even in here, it should have been grams per mole. Okay? So 181.62 grams per mole. And sig figs with this one, we're looking at this. We have 4 here. The 9, because this is kind of like 1/3, that's going to have unlimited sig figs. So if we really wanted to get the sig figs right, we should just have 181.6 grams per mole. That's a better answer. Okay, there you go.